Welcome back to the Making of Her, a Lead with Soul series that is celebrating women in leadership, women who are redefining leadership with heart and purpose. I am honored today to welcome a dear, dear friend, Regan Robertson. She is Chief Communications Officer at the Productive Dentist Academy. She is a seasoned marketing expert. She is a coach, a strategist, a storyteller. She helps dental leaders uncover and amplify their authentic voice through podcasting as well as storytelling. So let's get started. Welcome, Regan. I am so excited to have you.
Oh, thank you, Meghna. You inspire me and have inspired me for so many years. And you are one of the few voices in dentistry, that really elevates authenticity and passion. You can't hide your passion for anything. And so it's an honor to be here today. I'm excited for our conversation.
I have been waiting for this. So let's dive in. You have spent what, more than a decade now, right? I think we connected what, 14 years ago, I think.
Yes.
You've
Yes.
you've spent all that time at PD, at the Productive Dentist Academy. Tell us what drew you in originally and how has your role within the company evolved since?
Absolutely. This was an act of pure curiosity. So my professional background, which is well over 20 years now, was in publishing and design. And I've worked with so many brands, none of them in dental. Skincare was one. I launched a world brand that way. All of that was really fun and exciting. And then I met Victoria Peterson because her, well, then boyfriend at the time, now husband, built my parents' house of all things. So oddly enough, I end up meeting this wonderful CEO of a national organization in my little hometown on a little island, and we connected at a party and we couldn't stop talking marketing. So it actually, I guess if I were to put a title on it, it all started from horse's teeth on a billboard to where we are today. We had a couple of parties together. We just kept getting together, talking about marketing. We both realized we were really passionate about it. And my mom was a dental assistant for her career. And so she's always been big into oral health and giving me that great foundation. So when the opportunity presented itself, PDA was building a marketing agency, and she asked if I would join as their art director. So that's how that all happened. And from that time, when Victoria and I connected, we both had this endless curiosity. And I actually had come to her at one point and said, how can I know more about the analytics and data side of marketing? I'm a great designer. How do I pair this? And that theme, I guess, just has continued for almost 15 years now of what is next and what should we be asking. And it's led to incredible growth. So getting a leader behind you that really recognizes and can cultivate growth, your opportunities are limitless within an organization. So from there, art director, I've been the brand manager, I've been the COO, I've been the president, I've worn lots of different hats and had an opportunity to try each of them out, see how they fit. And for the past, I think, 3 years now, I've been chief communications officer.
Super, super exciting. So, how has your background in marketing and everything that you do, how has it shaped the work that you do as a coach, right?
Mhm.
And as a story brand expert, as a guide for dentists?
Well, I love story. I'm obsessed with story. And if I wasn't doing what I did today, I would have been working in video games, I think. There was a woman named Roberta. She did a series, King's Quest was one of the series, but she did these role-playing computer games in the 80s and 90s, and I fell in love with story. And my mom used to read to me every single night. She still clips me newspaper articles to this day. So what I realized in that is stories have the ability to transport us. They have an ability to show us what's possible when we might not even be thinking it's possible. So marketing became a natural avenue for me to blend my love of art, which I've always been passionate about, with storytelling. And the problem that I have seen time and again throughout all of my marketing experience is you have beautiful business owners or product developers or innovators that have a service and they don't know how to communicate and connect with their audience. And in between designing and storytelling, I realized that when I was able to observe and listen to people, I was able to act almost as a translator to be able to share what was in that innovator or business leader's mind to the market. And so marketing became a natural house for me. How do we connect those goods and those services with the people who really deserve them and are searching for them? And it's very frustrating to me, to hear from a business owner that is shy and feels like it's too salesy to want to put themselves out there. And so I feel like I'm kind of a nice guide to make it easy for them and even fun to connect with their audience. So they don't feel pushy and instead they realize that they are the guide. And I became Story Brand certified for those if you're listening right now and thinking, what in the heck is this? It's a framework that was developed by a very celebrated fiction author, Donald Miller, who ended up taking the narrative framework. So think about my passion for video games and storytelling and turned it into an easy 7-step framework so that marketers could apply that same formula to marketing. So I got hooked in with him and so passionate about it that became certified in that specific methodology so that we could make it repeatable for any business, but dentists in particular.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for that
Yeah.
because what a lot of people don't know is that dentists are a lot, I shouldn't say all of them, are extremely introverted. We
Hmm.
would rather work inside the mouth with our hands than get on camera and share our stories. So thank you for doing that.
Absolutely.
So was this the inspiration to launching the Everyday Practices podcast? Because I know you use that as a platform
Hmm.
as to how dentists share their stories. And of course, it's phenomenal. But was that an inspiration there?
Thank you. Storytelling is the way that culture is shared, that knowledge is passed down, and ultimately we can benefit as a result. And speaking of the introversion of dentists, we all wear so many masks, myself included. We want to be professional and we don't want to admit to vulnerabilities. And it can cause, I think, negative behaviors too, like pointing the finger and just saying marketing sucks. Marketing sucks, and I'm going to blame that instead of really turning it around and putting yourself out there. That can be really difficult to do. Everyday practices. We just hit our 300th episode this week. Thank you. I
Congratulations.
didn't even, it wasn't even on my radar, and I happened to see it go live and went, oh my gosh, that's number 300. That podcast was the brainchild of Victoria. So her and Chad Johnson, who's still my co-host to this day, they started it, and the purpose of it was to showcase real doctor stories, not necessarily your big celebrity dentists, but just everyday dentists putting in the productive philosophies that PDA teaches and the
Mhm.
result of that. And Victoria and Chad are both really great interviewers, and they were able to extrapolate these stories and help doctors feel comfortable. And as the organization grew, Victoria started investment grade practices. So she has
Mhm.
that particular podcast. We have the Productive Dentist podcast. And she asked me, so this is a secret, I would say, especially if you have a team that you want to grow. She's always been really good at getting me to slowly work my way into growth without me really realizing it. So Meghna, I had no aspirations to be a speaker. I had no aspirations to be a podcaster or on the front of the stage. None of that. I was very happy being behind the scenes, and I think that was one of my own ways to relate to dentists. Really, honestly, is I don't want to be the face. I will make you look great, and I will help you translate your message, but don't put me out there. And she saw something different with that, so she said, "Would you just, maybe take over and guest host for me?" For this one time, I'm going to be busy traveling. And I said, yes. That led to another, that led to another, and before you know it, we're off to the
We're
races.
300 episodes in.
300 episodes in, and we're still interviewing doctors, and then we're interviewing really, really amazing authors and influencers that are making a difference. And the goal does absolutely remain everyday practices. You are exceptional by just existing, and you should know that. And there are tricks that we employ daily so that you can really feel great about that, celebrate it, and make sure that you're differentiated in the market without having to refer to silly sales tactics. You are exceptional just as you are.
Amazing, amazing. What would your advice be to a leader, right? You work with leaders
Mhm.
who tend to be overstressed communicators
Mhm.
to help them transform into more confident storytellers, to actually step into their power, to own that and shine their light. What, say I'm one of those people, what would your top tips to me be? How would you guide me through it?
Absolutely. That's a great question, Meghna. Having compassion and understanding that what we see on the surface um, it's the end result of something that sits under the surface. So having compassion for each other as human beings is first and foremost important. So if you are somebody who's about to interview a dentist or help them, so if you're a marketer, for example, and you want to get to that deeper level, I would say active listening and compassion are key. For you, Meghna, as a dentist and a leader, I would help guide you through understanding what those deeper drivers are and your why before we go into the transactional pieces of the business and what you want to accomplish. You are absolutely right. Close to 10 out of 10 times, at least 9 out of 10 times, when a leader comes to me in dental or wildly outside of dental, they are stressed out. And it's because they're looking at the minutia of what's in front of them every single day. I suffer the same trap. It would be great to be able to be reflective and have a moment to sit and pause, but there's also 20 things on this list that have to get done. So there does have to be a little bit of a pattern disrupt that happens because you have to calm your nervous system. And one of the best ways I think to be able to do that is to show up and first and foremost say, Meghna, you're not the hero of this story. So take the pressure off right away. That helps people. I think there's probably something psychological with it, but it helps people separate in their mind and they don't think like the light is suddenly on them and they have to perform and they have to put on this mask. So when you can tell a doctor you're not the hero, you're actually just a guide helping someone.
Mhm.
It helps facilitate and open up the conversation. And all of a sudden, too, what I love about that, just that statement and helping someone think that way is those 20 things on the list that are so stressful, your brain can't really focus on those anymore. Your brain is going to focus on what you came here to do in the first place, which is help other people. So my advice to you, if you're feeling the stress and you're not getting the results that you want to get in whatever facet of your business, remind yourself and write down why you started this in the first place and what it is that you're doing and passionate about doing in helping other people. So take the focus off of yourself. That would be
I
number
love
one.
it. I love it. You're here to serve somebody, whoever your patient, client, whoever that is. And
Hmm.
let's turn the focus back on them.
Hmm.
No pressure on me. So what if I don't have makeup on? We're still good.
Right.
A lot of our listeners are high achieving women, doctors, leaders in other industries. A lot of them are women that are getting ready to or are right in the middle of what I call creating their second act.
Yes.
um, they have built, created, tasted the success in their first act, right? But that was built based on what the world decided it needed to be. Oh, you are, or you should be a doctor, you should live your life this way, children, whatever, XYZ, right? Each career has their own. These are women that have finally realized life is too short and I was here. This is my purpose, and I'm ready to go after it, build it, get that second act. For a woman that is in that messy middle, as I call
Yes.
it, how can they build or create an authentic, meaningful brand that revolves around whatever it is that they're trying to do? Be it start a podcast, write a book,
Mhm.
build a second company, whatever that may be for them. How can they do that?
Bravery, first and foremost. I This is probably my all-time favorite topic, Megna, is this. I mean, we're in the second act, right? We are in the second act right now. I'm there with you. And first and foremost, it might take some inner work. It takes bravery to say, I now am going to stand in my own power. I'm going to recognize my mortality. That is something that's really fascinating to me because a lot of us have children. They're in transitional phases of their own life. They might be graduating, going off to college, and we don't. It's so funny to me because it's just like how we market to patients, and especially women patients. We put the focus on our families, our children, what's expected of us, and then this transition happens, and we have this window of opportunity. So, for myself and for what I have coached people through personally is wow, I've done Hero on a Mission is one of my favorite workshops, and that's Donald Miller. And then I combine it with all my years of experience and different things that I've done. But we will go down pretty deep. So I've taken some leaders through writing their obituaries. And I know that sounds maybe shocking or jarring, but it helps understand that you have a finite life, that you deserve to get everything that you've wanted and more. And your intuition this whole time has likely been correct. We've just done a really great job of dampening it down and making it second fiddle when it deserves to bubble up to the surface. So some things that you could write down that would be, I would say, reflective in this, and some things that I walk people through is understanding that you writing out when you think you're going to die. Like, how long do you really think you're
That's
going to live?
powerful.
It really is, because I've been surprised at life. I've had close family members that I was certain will make it to 100, and life will flip the script on you, and they could be gone tomorrow.
Right.
And so really, thinking about how many summers do we really have left in life, and how do we want to live those summers, and who do we want to live it for? So once you make that brave decision that I'm going to live it for myself, and I am worthy of that, I am worthy to have needs, then we get into what you want to be known for. So what are you passionate about? There is work to I think, introduce yourself, and then facing that bravely forward. So for me, for example, art is always a passion of mine. It will never stop being a passion of mine. And I just had this discussion with my daughter, who's also an artist. She has considered being an interior designer, and she started down the path that I have done my whole life, which is, well, you're not going to make enough money if that career doesn't provide enough financially. Switching that around and making anything possible. If you put that like over your controlling idea, your head, and say, okay, anything is possible, what would I do? Start writing down what those interests are and what those passions are. And then the next piece to it, Megna, is why? Why are those interests exciting to you? That will start to dig you under the surface of the drivers that are propelling you forward. And all of those clues are there. Once you discover why this is important to you, then you can start formulating, I think, your second act. And it's taken me 3 years. It's been 3 years. I've been to therapy. I've done my own coaching. I've worked with coaches myself. I think you have to walk through that yourself to be able to turn around and
Absolutely.
help others. And I've had really emotional breakdowns, and like pluses and minuses, like two steps forward and one step back. So I finally feel like now I'm at a place where I'm really clear about who I am and the direction I'm going in my second act. And so, listeners, give yourself some grace and don't think it's something that you can just snap a finger. Like, honor the process of that second act. It's not another to do to check off your list. That was a big paradigm shift for me. So if you treat it like a gift, like a piece of work in and of itself, and take off the deadline, that reduces the stress and the urgency for it, and allows, I think, more of yourself to organically come forward, and you'll be able to start to see and better understand what that purpose is in your life and how you can blend it with your soul meaning.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful, wonderful advice. Just actually remembering to honor yourself. I mean,
Mhm.
a lot of these women, me included, a lot of this comes from when you're on the verge of, or maybe even experiencing burnout, right?
Mhm.
And at that point, you just go, what am I doing all this for? To be followed by, is there, is this that there is? Like, is this it? There should
Yeah.
be more, right? I know you had a podcast episode on burnout.
Mhm.
Share with me the lessons that you have learned, through everything, life experiences, your own work. I know how avid of a reader you are as well. But share with me what lessons you've learned about preventing this or maybe even navigating through it.
Well, the saddest thing and the most empowering thing that I can say that I've learned myself through overcoming burnout is that it is my fault. I can't put it on anybody else. I can't blame the environment. And am always have always been a big advocate for being a hero and not a villain. And I did not realize for a long time that I was acting as my own villain, and kept coming up with many excuses. You have a choice. You have a choice. Jake Brown is a great author and a fellow coach. I had him on the podcast, and he wrote a book called Leader Shit or
Ah.
Leaders Hit, if you have to bleep it out. And in the book, it is about surviving a really toxic leadership situation, and how he survived in this really poorly set up creative agency. And towards the end of the book, he really gets down to brass tacks, and he says, I have a choice. I can do something else. And surviving, I think, in today's culture, especially in the United States, I would be really surprised. I haven't met anyone who hasn't had some sort of burnout in their professional career yet. Everyone suffers some sort of hurdle. My tip for I guess getting through it has to come through self-awareness. And I can't teach that. But I can give you clues. If you're ever saying, it's just because X, Y, or Z, or I can't because those are excuses. And the reality is you do have a choice, even when it feels like you don't have a choice. You can walk away from everything. There are consequences for that. And when we get to that point where, the consequences and the pain of the consequences do not, outweigh staying, you end up making that difference in that choice. So, um, surviving and overcoming burnout to me was understanding self-awareness, and then realizing, like, walking through and diagnosing what was causing my particular burnout. So for me, a lack of boundaries is a big thing. Another guest that we just had on the podcast, Dr. Gary Sanchez, super successful dentist for like 20 years. He ended up co-founding the Why Institute, and he has this great discovery process, and it's a way to get to kind of your third level of why. And um, so I filled it out like I fill out all of the different personality tests that I've taken over the years, thinking, it'll be good. And it was not just good, it was great. And one of the challenges to my particular why and my personality is I will say yes to everything, and not put up good boundaries because I really do want to serve. And I thought that is me to a T. So if I'm not putting up proper boundaries, and I believe you have a great video on boundaries and saying no, uh, then you're hurting yourself. And so I would say if you are suffering symptoms of burnout, I would ask yourself, where are you abandoning yourself? And then why are you abandoning yourself? What taught you that that was okay?
To not
Yeah,
prioritize you. Yes,
yeah.
yes. And just as a disclaimer to whoever's listening, and I know Regan agrees with this too, once you get past that, understand and know it is absolutely okay to ask for help. It is absolutely okay to lean into people that love you, want to support you, because there's more that will than won't. So we're not alone. We're all walking this path together.
We're designed. We are social creatures that are designed to be together, and I this culture in particular definitely focuses on a lot of separation, a lot of competition, and our constructs that used to exist have really broken down. And even when we connect over Zoom, it's beautiful. It's still not the same as human to human connection. So
Yeah,
I'm in love with that position, Magna. I don't think we can function apart. We do need each other. Nobody is one
absolutely.
solution.
No, no, absolutely. How do you define success today? Seeing, everything that you've done, achieved, worked through, and are continuing to. What is your definition of success today? And how do
Mhm.
you hope that your impact, your legacy that you're building evolves in the years to come?
Hmm. I define success as being able to sleep at night. That's really important to me. And I've had many nights, over the 20 years where I haven't had good night's sleep, and I attended an airway summit a couple of years ago. And, you assembled a beautiful cast of sleep experts. And one of
Thank
the
you.
doctors that spoke at it talked about not just, we all know that you're supposed to get REM sleep, right? You're supposed to go through the cycles, but he did a beautiful job of explaining, like, physiologically what is happening, like what's being fleshed out, what your brain is doing as it's having nightmares or dreaming or whatever it's going through. And that was a big paradigm shift for me. And I realized how valuable sleep was. And so that made me look at, well, from multiple health modalities, what was happening to that, but the emotional impact and how I define success is being free of that, being free of the amount of stress that will keep you up at night, be it financial stress, personal stress, relationship stress, work stress. Part of that is in our control and part of that is out of our control. So another factor to me of being successful is understanding what I can control and being okay with the things I cannot. And what is it? What it's a famous Catholic prayer. Um, having the
Oh,
courage to accept the things I cannot change. Yeah, it was up in my grandma's bathroom for forever. And I read that growing up, and now at 46, I'm understanding the deeper currents of the importance of that prayer. And my legacy, oh, if I can help people feel seen and they are living in their passion. I have done so many brand, brand development for inside and outside of dentistry. And one of the gifts I think I've been given is being able to get down to people's deeper why, but then also understanding what to do with that, because sometimes we'll get down to that third level of why, and a doctor will break down in tears and admit they don't want to be a dentist at all. And in fact, they never really wanted to be a dentist. It was their dad that expected them to be a dentist. They wanted to be a surgeon, but because of family tradition, they went this different route. What do you do with that information? And you can see it as something that's paralyzing, or you can see it that is something that is liberating. And so if I were to leave any legacy, I would hope that it would be that I helped play a role and be a guide for others so that they can live in their true purpose and they can sleep at night, that my family can sleep at night, and that we can feel whole as we can feel in this reality that we're in, that is life right now. So I do have really deep beliefs that run strong. I think right now, we're in this level of our game, and I think life goes on beyond our physical bodies. So if I can ease that and help people in any way, that lights me up all day long.
love it. Love it. Before I let you go, how can our listeners, our audience, because we will be on multiple channels, find you? How can they connect with you? How can they get to absorb a little bit of your magic and make it their own?
Absolutely. Well, you can connect with me on LinkedIn. You can find me under Regan Robertson. Regan and Robertson, I think is what it is, A-N-N-E. So I use my middle name there for that. Uh, And you can listen, you can tune in on Everyday Practices Dental Podcast. If you can't find it on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, all of the areas, you can also go to productivedentist.com and find it there as well. Or if you want to email me and connect, you can certainly do that. And I am Regan at productivedentist.com.
And we will have all of this shared in the show notes. So if you are looking to connect with this amazing human being, you know where to find her. Regan, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule, for coming on, sharing your unique journey, your insights today with all of us, me included. It's been forever since I've chatted with you. Thank you. I truly appreciate it and love you.
You are so welcome. Love you too.